What's up, everybody? Here we are for another episode of the SnapRefund Podcast. My name's Cody and Anis. I'm here with
Anis Taylor.
You probably know that by now. And here we are in Milwaukee. So let's get into it. So I think first things first, I just want to say this is our last episode of the year, if I'm not mistaken. So it's really awesome to look back and see where we've gone from the very beginning of this podcast to where we are now. I mean, so much has happened. And a big theme for today's episode, I think, is reflection, framing, and going forward. So I think it'd be really cool to talk about what we're here in Milwaukee for. It's been the program showcase for the Northwestern Mutual Black Founder Accelerator. You know, we've been super geeked that we got into it. It's been a really special time and a huge step in our journey and our advancement. So this was a showcase for us and all of our other cohort members. There are 10 companies that received investment and mentorship in this program from Northwestern and Gener8tor, and that's been huge for us. So I'm thinking about some of the things that I'm really thankful for in this whole process, and we had a really, really powerful meeting with some of our stakeholders over at Northwestern Mutual to talk about how things have been going, how things can shape the future of 2023 for us and what we should be thinking about from a strategic level. And that was really, really important. I think one of the biggest things with that too, and it really came from a mentor of ours named Precious Drew over at Gener8tor. She's been awesome. She's the managing director of this program. She actually had talked to Anis and I when we were meeting with her. In one of our meetings a few weeks ago, we were telling her, we've had some troubles around locking in our goals for clients. Where do we go from here? And she actually said, I think you're underutilizing your investors. You're not leveraging your stakeholders and your team. And we weren't. That was a reality. That was a big lesson that we realized. We kind of had the mentality, and it was really unintentional, but we ended up not including them in the challenges we were facing just by nature of wanting to come to them with results instead of coming to them to say, look, we actually could use your help here. And that was a really important lesson for me. So that was one of the highlights of the week for me, was really taking a new chapter and a new approach with this next step forward for the business. And Anis is going to talk a little bit about what he liked this week. And I know I talk fast. Sorry, I'm still in pitch mode because we had 3 minutes to get through it. So, I could talk a mile a minute. What was that like for you, man?
Man, it was really cool. I just think just being able to be a part of an organization and a cohort that really put their money where their mouth is, but not only that, also put their muscle into it. And I think that's really important with what we're doing as entrepreneurs, as startup founders with SnapRefund. And I think there's a lot of stuff that people that listen to this podcast can learn as well about leveraging your stakeholders and people that are genuinely invested in you. You could be invested in through money. You could be invested in through real legitimate support. There's so many different ways that can happen. And so for us to be able to have that type of support with an organization like Northwestern Mutual, shout out to Moise, shout out to Abim. These guys were really key stakeholders in making sure that we're doing what we're supposed to do and not get discouraged with the bumpy roads that happen for a lot of entrepreneurs. I think there was something key when you talked about really within this show, right? It's all about framing. And it's really about, as you're building your business and doing what you got to do, how are you looking at your glass? Are you looking at your glass half empty, or are you looking at your glass half full? And what we were doing as we were going through the challenges is that we were looking at our glass half empty, when we should have been looking at our glass half full, which is what has changed a lot of the things. And the truth is, there's been a lot of success that we've accomplished in such a short amount of time. But however, we're really big dreamers, and we know that we have the ability to do really incredible things with SnapRefund. And so for us to not be able to get those results that we were looking for as far as our sales is concerned, our sales pipeline, that really discouraged us when we should have been thinking about the developments that we've been building and the wins that we have been having with the partners that we have today, and utilizing the lessons that we learned from them and taking that and carrying it on to as we continue to grow. So it's kind of like the best way that I can give you an analogy for is that you have a baby that's born, the baby is 3 years old, and now the baby says, hey, I don't want to just walk. I want to play in the NBA. And I don't want to just play in the NBA. I want to be an all-star in the NBA. And you're like, but you're only 3 and you just started walking. And the baby's like, yeah, but I'm walking and I can run. So I want to play in the NBA. And that's really the way that we were looking at it. It was like, look, we've been up for 3 years. We just launched in March. This thing is going great. We've transacted over $90,000. Things are moving. Our SMBs are happy. Our partners that we're working with really enjoy utilizing SnapRefund. They're consistently using it. Why are we not locking in these big incumbents out there and these big partners that we know can really drive our business to that next level? And the truth of the matter is we need time. It takes time to build. The world wasn't created in a day, and what we were hoping is that SnapRefund would just take it to that next level just because we launched. And so I think that was really key. And the conversation that we had with Precious that led us to the conversation that we had with Moise and Abim to really see what we were doing, finding our strengths, finding our weakness, finding what we can do to improve both of them was really key into the way that we feel today and just the pitch. So within that, just as an entrepreneur, do you feel like this is the natural progression, or do you think that it really should just be something that, hey, we have a legit product and we actually should be one of the biggest payment platforms in the world?
Yeah, it's all part of the natural progression. I mean, natural progression of a business can go so many ways because each situation is so unique. And there are patterns, but there's no single way that it's ever guaranteed to happen. There's no guarantees. So that's a big part of it, is accepting that you really just have to try your best at what you're doing. And then the opportunities across your path, you can only control those so much. You just got to make sure that whatever opportunities you can get in front of, you're just ready for them. I think that's huge. And, I was thinking too, by the way, your NBA analogy, I don't know if you were running when you were 3, but you're a pretty damn athletic baby.
I mean, I was a Division I athlete. I did play a little bit of pro ball, so maybe that has something to do with it. But I wasn't an NBA All-Star, and I think that does matter.
Sure. Yeah, running and saying you want to be an All-Star at 3, that's a precocious kid. So I was thinking too, looking at the program showcase, we took a risk because usually I'll give the pitches that we do. That's been part of my responsibility, my role at SnapRefund. But I really wanted to take a moment to let you shine because, Anis does so much work and, y'all don't even necessarily get to always see it. But behind the scenes, you really can't ask for a better teammate. And sometimes, even though I don't think you necessarily wanted to do the pitch or you weren't sure if it was right for us both to do it on stage, I pushed him to do that because I thought that not only would he be able to excel at it, but I knew with us both up there, that would be some much appreciated visual recognition for the fact that it's not just about one person. The team is really led by 2 horses pulling the cart. And within that, pitching is an art form and a science at the same time. I have my own techniques and tactics. If any of you follow me on LinkedIn, I post about that all the time. So I've got my own sort of jag, my own rhythm now of how I can deliver what I think are pretty solid pitches. But I want to hear a little bit about what that preparation process was like for you. And let me give you a quick story, by the way, some context. So we rolled up this week on Monday to Milwaukee. The showcase is on Wednesday. And Anis and I weren't sure what was even going to be the program schedule. Did we have to pitch? Was there going to be various events in the agenda? And we came in there not knowing if we were going to pitch. And then we found out, we have to pitch. So it's like, okay, we got 48 hours. What are we going to talk about? What are we going to do? So that's not a long time to prep for a pitch. And Anis has never given this pitch on stage before. So memorizing it is different from being able to read off presenter notes, and we challenged ourselves to do it together and be a duo. Shout out Drake and 21 Savage, man. Maybe that joint album really inspired me, but I was like, we got to go up there and shine. So I want to hear a little bit about what that preparation process is like for you and what you might be able to tell someone on how they can get ready for a pitch, even in a super short amount of time like you did.
Yeah, I really got to commend you with the posts that you've been doing on LinkedIn. I think that really helped me, just even being partners and just following, and there's just the tips that you were laying out there. Also watching you pitch, it kind of gave me an idea of really the way to carry myself out there and how to go about it. But I've never been one to back down from a challenge, just never. And I knew that, hey, if this is what it takes for the team, I'm going to be ready to step up. And I think that's really important for all teammates, no matter what organization you're with or who's on your team, that when you're presented with a challenge that you know is going to be a positive for your team, whether you want to do it or not, you just got to get up and do it. Was I nervous? A little, but I wouldn't say I was as much nervous as I just wanted it to go perfect. And I think that's also within the expectations of what we do at SnapRefund, is carrying a certain standard. And so I knew that, hey, okay, if this is what we're going to do and we're going to do it as a dynamic duo, let's be dynamic, right? And so I got up there and I just went to the wall with it. I didn't hold anything back. The key to, I will say this, is that there is no shortcuts when it comes to practice. We had 48 hours to practice, which is enough time. So it wasn't like it wasn't enough time. But the thing is, with those 48 hours that we had, we utilized it to its maximum. So we didn't have that time and just sit around and do nothing. We actually practiced. We practiced the evening before into 1 o'clock in the morning to really get it tight. I think another thing, too, that really helped me when I was up there is that being a teacher before, and shout out to all my students in Philly, in the Philadelphia School District, which really prepared me to get up there and just talk, right? You have to be able to talk with a purpose. A lot of times people just talk just to talk. I was talking with the purpose. We were talking with the purpose. We were really going in there because we knew our product. We knew what we wanted to explain. We knew what we wanted to get across to the listeners. And then we just got out there and we did it. There was nothing really holding us back. But really what the incentive was to do the best that we can is just knowing how important it was for SnapRefund to be represented in the best light in front of all these executives. I'm talking about the Northwestern Mutual executive team was in there. Some big dogs was in there. And this was not no time for us to mess around. It was game time. Like I mentioned, being an athlete, I mean, when that ball goes up, I'm not here to mess around. I'm here to get the job done. And so also having that type of experience and knowing what was at stake really helped. So I really would give that as an advice for just people out there that want to pitch, that really want to get their business across and get their message across. To one, go out there and do it. Don't be scared. Do it. Two, practice. There is no shortcuts to success. You have to practice, practice, practice. We had a choice to go out or we had a choice to practice. I chose to practice. Yeah, I wanted to go out. Trust me, I'm sure that our friends that went out and had a good time that night really enjoyed themselves. But it wasn't what our mission was here. Our mission was to show the success and the growth that we had over these 12 weeks in this Northwestern Mutual program. And we wanted to make sure that we showed the investors, the stakeholders that, hey, this is a good investment. We're an organization that's going to take everything serious, not just the big things, but even the little things that are so important. So I definitely recommend that to entrepreneurs, to businesses, to organizations, to teammates out there. Do not take any shortcuts. Practice. Do what you got to do. And if you're thinking about pitching, the best recommendation that I can give you is watch other people that have done really successful presentations and really successful pitches. Learn from them, study, and then go out there and do it yourself.
A really helpful technique I've found for the actual memorization part is going through the pitch, of course, forwards a bunch of times. And then when you feel like you're comfortable enough with it forward with no notes, then try to do it backwards with no notes. I think when you can do it literally forwards and backwards, then you really got it committed to memory. And definitely don't sleep on sleep, meaning you really only can remember things truly effectively when you actually get a good night's rest after training, right? And that's not even just with memorization. That's physical, muscle memory. That's when your brain is really making those connections and you actually have that time to rest. So practicing really, really hard. When we did it forwards and backwards, I don't know how many times. And then at a certain point, I said, all right, it's time to go get some sleep. You need to actually commit this to memory. You wake up the next day, and you might not even realize it, but now all of a sudden you're just thinking, when you're in the Uber driving to the spot, like, oh, wait a minute, I'm like memorizing it, or I've already memorized it more just because I did it so much before I went to bed that night.
Yeah, I definitely would say that was some great advice. Don't sleep on sleep. Like, you're like, okay, hey, we got enough practice. Because I was even like, yo, let's just do it a couple more times. And you're like, bro, we've been doing this for hours. We're good. Get some rest. You'll be all right tomorrow. Another thing, too, is surround yourself with supportive people. I think that's really key, right? Is when you surround yourself with people that's going to support you and encourage you, it gives you the confidence to really take it to that next level. And the thing about this cohort and the thing about Gener8tor and the thing about just everybody in the Northwestern Mutual Black Founder Accelerator is that we're very supportive of each other. And I think that was really one of the key assets that helped us succeed. Because, unless you tuned in to the presentation, we killed it, bro. We really did. People were coming up to us and they were like, it's usually difficult to watch between two different people giving a presentation, but we were so in sync. There was no beat skip. It was all bam, bam, bam. And that was really key into the success of it. Another thing, too, that I really want to give a shout out to is really the city of Milwaukee. I think that's been one of the other assets that has been for us as an organization with SnapRefund is being in a city where you really feel like you're being valued and you're being supportive in ways that you would not expect. When I was coming up, Milwaukee was not in my radar to come. I don't have family in the Midwest, or that I know of at least. I don't have family in Milwaukee, so I didn't know what to expect when I came here. But I'm telling you, it's really one of my favorite cities in the entire world. I love Milwaukee. I love the people in Milwaukee. I love the organizations and the businesses that we connected with in Milwaukee. That was really powerful. But it all leads into being around people that will support you and being around people that encourage you. Philly has done a great job of really building us to that next level that I feel that we can go into any environment and we can be successful just because of the hardships that we've been through and the grind that we've been through. So I really want to give a shout out to Milwaukee too before forgetting, because I think the magic that has happened for us in this city has really led us to taking it to that next level. How did you feel about just coming out here to Milwaukee, never being out here, or if you had before, just being able to grow in the 12 weeks that we've grown and then coming at the end and culminating it right here?
Yeah, I've been here before. I'm from the Midwest. I'm from St. Louis. So I've been to Milwaukee, and it was cool coming back for business. Last time I was just here to hang out with one of my friends. Shout out Nate Macon, great friend of mine, really good guy. And it's always, I always enjoy these moments when you're standing physically in the same place that you stood maybe years ago, but you have a whole different context and purpose. So I think that's always super dope.
Yeah, indeed. And I felt it, man. And just for being here, and I want to come back out here. I think we even had a discussion, like, I think we should make it a yearly pilgrimage just to come back out here and connect with our stakeholders. We do have investors in Milwaukee. Gener8tor, Northwestern Mutual, Wisconsin has invested in SnapRefund and has invested in Anis, Taylor, and Cody and Anis. That is the truth. And I think it's important to really leverage those stakeholders that are really involved in our career and our success and maximizing that. I had a conversation with Joe, who's one of the co-founders of Gener8tor. Joe and Troy, just both really incredible founders of this accelerator, Gener8tor. And Joe said something to me that really stuck with me, and I could sense the passion when he said, man, I just want you to know that I want you to succeed a gazillion times. I want you to just blow up and have the most successful business. And I could actually see it in his eyes of how sincere he was, that he really wanted us to be successful. And it wasn't just talk, because he's actually put his money where his mouth is. He has invested in us. He has put us into the rooms with people that can actually really make a difference. And that was really important as well. So I really do want to shout out the entire team as well of Gener8tor and for the work that they've done with us.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's so hard for people. Maybe it's just human nature, but before someone's really taken a bet on you or given some sort of social validation, it's always more energy and effort to get that first group or person to take that bet. So whenever you're on this journey, I mean, you know, some people are lucky and have friends and family who will be the first ones to take that bet on you. A lot of people, especially Black founders, don't have that luxury. So it's even harder to get that first group to take a chance and invest in you. And for it to be so genuine and to come from a place of, look, we know no one else has really taken a chance on you yet to this degree. No one's really dropped like this level of resources and capital on you, but we see something that says we should do that. You have to really appreciate that, because that is a truly special gift.
Man, you just made me feel something when you say like a lot of Black founders out there, they may be going through the same experience that we're going through, that don't have those friends and family that can actually really invest in them. They'll support them, they'll cheer them on, but actually being able to put dollars behind it is really true. And the truth of the matter as well, being in America, living in America, having generations of family members that have lived in America. I'm talking about hundreds of years, from slavery to even having Native American ancestors mixed into that. The truth is, I don't know about you, but for me, I'm actually the first one that's been invested in this way, like of generations in America. America is one of the strongest economies in the history of the world. Have family members that's probably been here for 400 years. You know, who knows how long they dated back. And I'm the first one. That's powerful, bro. I've never had anybody that I can look to. Nobody in my family invested in me dollars that I can actually turn to and say, hey, you know, can you school me a little and tell me what you did to be successful running your business? Or, you know, my cousin or my brother. I've never had any of that ever. And nobody in my family has had that. How does something like that make you feel, and the responsibility that you know that you have to carry on your back and shoulders, knowing that from this point on, you might be the standard in 2022 in a country that kind of came about in the 1600s, got its independence in the 1700s, to knowing in 2022, you're the first?
It's a burden, but it's also an honor. And that's all about framing and perspective, because you can't control most of what happens to you in life. You really can't. You know, we like to think we can, but when it comes down to it, you can't control where you're born, what your family's like, even like, you know, your intangibles, like whether you're an able-bodied person, whether you have cognitive faculties that will allow you to accomplish X, Y, and Z. So no matter what's going on, I never let myself feel sorry for myself. And I always think whatever it is that it's going to take, that's okay. I know it's going to be really, really hard sometimes. And that's okay, because it's going to make it that much better when you're able to stand up and say, yeah, I didn't have a good hand of cards, but look what I did with it.
Absolutely. I love the challenge in a way that it gets me going, right? Not obviously it's super hard and like, God, will it ever change? Will it ever get better? But knowing that, hey, I'm actually in the game, in a game that never allowed anybody else that I know looked like me, or from my family, not look like me, but in my family that has not been able to be in. Representation really, really matters. And it's something that maybe you don't understand unless you understand. But unless you can see somebody that looks like you or that you can actually touch, that's actually doing something that you want to do, it's really hard for you to get into those doors and to do it, because you're kind of just like, well, I'm just trying to freestyle this and make it happen. So that to me was really just a powerful part of just like, okay, this is a challenge. I'm ready for it. But the dopest thing about it is that we're here. It's not even a conversation anymore that we can complain about. No, we're here. It's like, all right, well, what are you going to do with it?
And that's a great segue, talking about what's coming up in 2023. Before we jump into it, we only have a few more minutes here with you. I just want to give a huge shout out to everyone back at home and around the country who tuned in and watched the program showcase. I got a lot of text messages when we got off stage saying, congratulations, you did great. It was awesome. So we just want to thank you all so much.
Yes, indeed. We always want to thank our supporters. They're what pushes us, So thank you guys. And also thank you guys for tuning into our podcast. We really appreciate you guys, watching, commenting, sharing, listening. We hope that you're able to get some nuggets from what we're sharing with you, because, we're allowing ourselves to be vulnerable in this position and really letting you inside everything that's happening to us along the way. You guys have been there from the episode 1 and seeing, hey, we don't know what's going on, to where we're at today. We just completed a 12-week program. We were invested in. We've had great sales leads. We're meeting with people. And even now, looking at the glass half full, knowing that 2023 is going to be better, it just gets me even going some more.
For sure. So in 2023, what to expect in the first few months from SnapRefund. So it's time for us to kick off our official fundraising. So now we're going to be going on a little road show, virtual, in person. It'll be a mix of both, I'm sure. And we're going to start raising more funds to be able to continue to grow our team and take all the learnings we've gotten from our 7 SMB clients, from all of our leads and conversations in the insurance space, and the 90K we've transacted on the platform to date, our 104 users, and grow that success and really scale it through the roof. So if you know any investors, people who are interested in investing in minority-owned businesses, people who are invested in fintech businesses, insurance businesses, we are looking to talk to them. And then beyond that, we have so much more dope stuff coming out with the platform. app.snaprefund.io. Check it out. Stop playing with these other competitors. It's time to get on that real platform. So look out for it. We'll, of course, have way more news and updates for you. We just signed our 7th SMB partner. Really excited about that. They sent some payments out. I was checking out this week. It looks really good. So look out for a lot of exciting stuff coming down the pipeline. And happy holidays.
Indeed. Thank you guys so much. We really appreciate you guys tuning in. Look, we've had success. We've showed that we can actually do this. We have a business. We have a product. And now we're going to take that success and we're going to grow with it, right? We can actually go to investors and say, hey, this isn't even an idea anymore. Look at the success that we've been able to build with our SMBs. Look at what we're doing. Now we want to take it to another level. So if you do want to be a part of that ride, and please also, we do want you to look at if you can invest in minorities, but don't look at us just as minorities, right? Look at us as real entrepreneurs, real people that's actually trying to solve a real problem out there. And there's people in the insurance space that when they do get approved for their claim, it's taken too long for them to get their money when they need it most. And SnapRefund is here to be that solution. We want you to get your money in seconds. I think about my brothers and sisters in Florida and in Puerto Rico that when they go through a natural disaster and they've paid all their insurance bill on time, and when it's time for them to need their money and get their money, how long it's taken for them to get that. With a product like SnapRefund and our technology, they're not waiting 35 days, years, months, however long. They're getting it in seconds, and that's really powerful. So we appreciate you guys. Happy holidays. We're wishing you all the best. Whatever it is that you're doing, we want you to know that SnapRefund believes in you too.
That's right. Thank you for tuning in. I'm Cody Eddings.
And I'm Anis Taylor, and we'll catch you guys later. Peace.